1984 and the Troubles are still raging. For Loyalists, Gerry Adams was the ultimate hate figure. The Republican knew only too well he was a target, and on March the 14th that year, the UFF came the closest ever to killing him. They opened fire in his car as he left court. Mr. Adams was hit in the neck, shoulder and arm. He has long claimed that the security forces had prior knowledge of the attack, but an investigation by the Police Ombudsman has found nothing to back this up.
We got access to considerable information in relation to the event, the attack itself, and I came to the view that there was no prior information that the police held which could have prevented this incident taking place.
3 others in the car Gerry Adams was in were also wounded. The gunmen involved were caught as they tried to escape by an off-duty police officer, off-duty members of the UDR and 2 soldiers in plain clothes. One of those convicted was leading loyalist John Gregg, who was himself murdered in 2003 during a loyalist feud. Gerry Adams first brought his complaint here to the Ombudsman's office 8 years ago. As well as those claims that the security forces had prior knowledge of the attack, the investigation also looked into allegations that a high-ranking informer was also involved and that the bullets used in the attack had been doctored to make them less lethal. All were dismissed by the Police Ombudsman.
The complaint in relation to the bullets that were used in the shooting. We carried out our own independent forensic analysis of the ballistics, and we found that they, to use the phrase, had lethal potential.
Gerry Adams, who became Sinn Féin president just months before that attempt to murder him, has described the Ombudsman's report as incomplete and has called on Michael Maguire to set aside his conclusions until he has had access to army files and relevant intelligence records. Referring to the length of time the inquiry took, Mr. Adams says this emphasises the difficulties inherent in investigating actions that took place 30 years ago and where not all relevant British intelligence information is available. The Sinn Féin president is clearly unhappy with the outcome of this investigation. He believes the security forces know more about that attempt in his life in 1984. But the Ombudsman says he has looked at all the relevant material and military records. Michael Maguire says as an exercise in holding police to account, his investigation is complete. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live.